$10 million and even included having U.S. Coast Guard patrol boats on the shoreline ready to act. Police officials also estimated that to guard the Trump Tower where First Lady Melania Trump and Barron.
Hello guys, how are you? What's up? My name is Wasim Shokat and you're watching Galaxy Reaction. Today we are watching the most protective president in the world. So today we are watching a video who explains the most protected president in the world, who is number 1 and who is number 10. Please watch till end the video and subscribe the channel, like the video. Okay, let's start the video.
When you're responsible for an entire country, it goes without saying that your life is pretty important. But not everyone will like the decisions you make, which can put you in a tricky position. Every day, you're at risk and require protection. From a personal army for one president to movable barricades for another, here are 15 of the most protected presidents in the world. Number 15. Kim Jong-un. Most people know who Kim Jong-un is. He is the supreme leader of North Korea and a North Korean politician. As most people are aware, North Korean officials run a pretty tight ship, and not everyone's gonna be happy with that. So Kim Jong-un has some pretty heavy security around him at all times to keep him safe. He has a 100,000-man army with a command structure, and they are known as Guard Command. He's also not often seen without a personal protection unit literally running beside his armored car at high-profile events. His entire army is dispersed countrywide in various brigades, regiments, and battalions. They conduct surveillance, look after his family and properties, and even provide medical care. Kim Jong-un also has a unit called the Rapid Response Force, which consists of around 2,000 soldiers with heavy weaponry who exist around the Pyongyang area to counter any coup attempts. Then there's the Communications Unit that focuses on nuclear weapon release commands. It definitely seems like Kim Jong-un has got things well covered, so it's nearly impossible for any citizen to even get near him, let alone do him any harm. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Number 13. President Donald Trump. When you're the president of a country with, let's just say, a lot going on, your protection is gonna be necessary. President Donald Trump's security costs are on track to surpass those of the Obama family by hundreds of millions of dollars. And that was back in 2017, so we're sure those figures have skyrocketed since then. When he made 3 trips to Mar-a-Lago, that came in at a cost of $10 million and even included having U.S. Coast Guard patrol boats on the shoreline ready to act. Police officials also estimated that to guard the Trump Tower where First Lady Melania Trump and Barron Trump lived, it would cost around $500,000 a day, or $183 million a year. When President Trump made a trip to the Super Bowl in Mar-a-Lago, the Secret Service shelled out $12,000 just for portable toilets, tents, golf carts, and light towers. Then there's the cost of hotel room bills when Eric Trump went to Uruguay. Those came in at about $100,000. Armed guards follow President Trump everywhere he goes, including when he travels in his limousine or by Air Force One. Even his food is monitored, as security agents have to know what goes into it to stop him from being poisoned. When they travel, his security personnel carry his blood type in case he needs a transfusion, and sniffer dogs to sniff out bombs. Number 12. Vladimir Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin is rarely alone. Even when he goes to the toilet, there's always someone checking that he's safe and no threats are in the general vicinity. President Putin is looked after by the Presidential Security Service. This federal government agency protects both the president and the prime minister and their families. Within this agency, there's also a psychological security department which analyzes information collected about security threats. No stone is left unturned in making sure that every possible threat to President Putin is swiftly taken care of. But that might not have been enough for Vladimir Putin. In 2016, CNBC published a story that said he could be forging a personal army for dealing with domestic tensions. Executive orders were proposed to create a national guard that Putin's former bodyguard Viktor Solotov would lead. The National Guard would serve in counter-terrorism, national and public security, and state border protection. Some people were quite suspicious of the new army and believed it would be used to control the Russian population. The Guard would answer to the government rather than a minister. Number 11. Xi Jinping. The president of China, Xi Jinping, is easily one of the world's most protected presidents. Along with Communist Party officials, he is protected by the Central Security Bureau, which is an elite guard and secretive organization. Because Xi Jinping mostly keeps a low profile, most people were not aware of just how much security he needed. We were given an insight into it back in 2017, though, when he visited Hong Kong. The entire area was encompassed in a massive security blanket. Parts of the city were shut down, and 11,000 police officers were brought in for protection. They made use of helicopters and 6-foot movable barricades to offer as much protection as possible. For his day-to-day care, the Central Security Bureau offers Xi Jinping much-needed peace of mind. They are responsible for all senior Chinese government's protection and protection of military leaders and the Communist Party. They also have full control over the People's Liberation Army's Central Guard unit. There are more than 8,000 people in the Bureau, with 7 groups and 36 squadrons. They all have their own missions, including protecting the Premier of State Council and the Communist Party's General Secretary. Number 10. Mohammed bin Salman. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, may not be the most heavily protected man in the world, but that's not to say it won't yet happen. If recent history has shown us anything, security situations can change at the drop of a hat. The Crown Prince hasn't been on the best terms with his father, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Rumors were circulating last year that the family fallout could lead to Mohammed being kicked out of office. But Mohammed is not having any of that. He has started forming a colossal security network around himself to make sure that doesn't happen. He spent over a year influencing the military and security agencies in Saudi Arabia. He did this by promoting young officers who showed their loyalty to him. He even managed to arrange it so that higher-ups reported to him, not someone else. The Saudi Royal Guard, Land Forces, Air Force, Navy, Armed Forces, and Air Defense all report to him. What's more, Mohammed had around 800 new officer positions planned by the end of 2019. Number 9. Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Recep Tayyip Erdogan is the president of Turkey, and it's okay if you're confused about why we think he's one of the most protected presidents in the world. It's true that he only has a security detail of 60 people, but those 60 people are definitely some you don't want to mess with. He probably feels entirely safe when in their presence. The 60-man bodyguard detail is called the Mustachiers. It's a cute play on words, but there's nothing cute about these men. Aside from their pretty awesome mustaches, they're all quite muscly, burly men who provide the president with an incredibly high level of protection and service. For example, when he visited Washington, D.C., people were on site protesting. The Mustachiers, without a second thought, kicked the living daylights out of many of those protesters and caused a nightmare for police. Some of them were charged, but those charges were later dropped. The dropping of the charges happened to coincide with the president's meeting with the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. When he visited again in 2019, police, the Secret Service, and the U.S. State Department were all bracing themselves for his return. They didn't want a repeat performance from his fierce unit of bodyguards.
And please subscribe to the channel. Okay, Allah Hafiz.